Delton Jubinville of Sturgeon County, Alberta, owns and operates Hayboss Feeders in partnership with his brother Clayton. The business is truly a family operation since the first Hayboss feeder was designed by their father, Len.
The whole thing behind the feeder is the healthy feeding from net feeding and controlling the amounts of intake so they're grazing instead of gorging. It's kind of like a vertical pasture. My dad came up with this idea. He's the actual inventor, patenter, and it's got the feed surface always follows the feed. As they eat, it shrinks down.
Delton told us the Hayboss works well for feeding almost any type of livestock. The standard size feeder you see here holds up to 16 small square bales or any size of round bale. The feeder is designed to be easily moved around whether full or empty.
Pick it up with the pallet forks and go. And it's what it is a multi-species feeder. It accommodates very well the goats, the sheep, and the horses. Originally designed for the horses, and then we did a few modifications along the way to accommodate the sheep and the goats. Like the feeders all adjust in height. This leg, there's 3 different heights, so you could feed up to 22 inches high if you wanted. And you could feed on a fence line. So they have access from 2 different pens have access to 1 bale,
Here we see some time-lapse footage of horses eating from the Hayboss feeder. Loading bales into the feeder can be done with very little difficulty.
You just lift your roof, get that out of your way. This here's a lock, so you release your lock, and then come to your end of your panel and release your handle and free up your net. Set your bale in. You free up the other side of the net too. Set your bale in like a paint can, pull your other net on, cut your twines, and then pull your twines off, and then grab yourself enough slack to go around your bale again. Lock your handle in, release your slack, and then flick your lock dog down, and that just allows it to only tighten, not loosen. And then you drop your roof, and you lock that in the down position, just so you're always sheltered from the rain. And your roof has a small slope, so your rain goes off, but it's also flat on the inside. That never allows it always guides the net into that roller as they eat, so there's no jamming, no binding, you got your guard here that doesn't allow the hay to push in. And
Delton says one of his dad's goals in designing the Hayboss feeder was so that the farmer doesn't necessarily have to fill it every day, especially when using round bales. Feed waste is almost eliminated, which gets more and more important as hay prices continue to rise.
The feed savings is huge, especially in the goat and the sheep market. Mostly the goat market, we've actually went over double. Whereas they would be feeding a bale in an older conventional feeder every 3 days, now they're feeding a bale in the Hayboss every 7 days, right?
The feeders are built with heavy materials for long-term durability, even if they're being moved around with tractors.
So we kind of cut no corners there. We do all our welding first, and then we hot dip our whole piece after the manufacturing is done. So your galvanizing's inside and out and covers all your welds good. We use fully galvanized channels. It's only 2x8 boards on the floor, but you're always off the ground, so there's always air movement through there. So even that should last you a long time.
In addition to the standard Hayboss feeder you saw earlier, they have also built a smaller unit called the Hayboss Junior.
And it accommodates up to 8 square bales for smaller producers, but all the same features. The adjustable legs, 3 different heights you can feed at. The roof lifts right up on this one to load as well. And it's all the same tensioning system. And we recommend, on square bales, we recommend the 1.5-inch netting as opposed to the 2-inch netting.
The third member of the Hayboss family is the XL feeder, which is mainly meant for feeding large square bales.
It's 9 feet in length, so your biggest bales are 8 foot by 3 foot by 4 foot. So that's what this was designed for. One thing that is different on the XL and the Junior, as opposed to the standard, is our channels have a bent-in trough, right? So you have a lip here.
Hayboss feeders are built to last a long time, but the components can be replaced if they eventually wear out, including the nets.
Because the feeder's only been out for 2 years that we've been using it, and there's close to 200 feeders out there, and we haven't had a net had to be replaced yet. So we're saying between 3 and 5 years, and that part you can buy any piece of this feeder actually, even your handle, your roof panel, your lock, anything you could buy separately.
At the time of our visit, the Hayboss Standard and Hayboss XL feeders were retailing for $1,895, while the Junior was selling for $1,395. Added features such as the smaller 1.5-inch netting, as well as the package for feeding goats and sheep, are extra.